In this episode, I am discussing about that Bandh and Strike is declared as unconstitutional and illegal by virtue of our various Supreme Court decisions. Friends, we all are aware that from our childhood we are all suffering from a common issue, that is strike and bandh, and that is actually caused by irresponsible activity of various political party in order to satisfy their narrow interest. Time to time they declare bandh and strike. Ultimately what happens? Problem remains same, and common people, whether it is a student or whether it is any serious patient or any other sector of the people, they suffer a lot, which is actually irreparable loss and injury. So today's topic of discussion is that bandh or strike should be entirely prohibited, since it is decided by our Honorable Apex Court that bandh and strike is illegal and unconstitutional. Friends, we know that bandh and strike how much hampers our interest in the society. Net result is a zero because no problem is solved, but what happens that irreparable loss and injury is caused to various sectors of the people, as I have said, for whether it is a student or doctor or patient or any other sector, everybody's interest is thereby jeopardized. And frequently the bandh seekers, means who declare the bandh or strike, they ultimately take the support of Article 19(1)(a), that means Article 19 Clause 1 and Subclause A of our Constitution, which permits the freedom of speech and expression to every citizen. But what happens that whether freedom of speech and expression, it can damnify the interest of the common people? Certainly not. So by virtue of this declaration of bandh and strike, what happens that problem is not actually solved, but common people who have suffered, that is another one issue, and another that other people enjoy the day as holiday, and they usually play games like cricket or football etc. even on the road, and only what happened that school, colleges, offices, post office, banks and everything, there is a standstill, everything closed down for nothing, and that actually means caused the damage to the growth of our nation, and that should not be done in this welfare state. On this pretext also the workers actually they start to shirk their responsibility. So now the bandh and strike has reached to such an extent that it is a weapon how to shirk the responsibility by various workers. So today's topic, that is bandh and strike, are illegal, and as I have already stated, by virtue of Article 19(1)(a), the bandh supporters they actually declared it, but by virtue of various Supreme Court decisions, already it is decided by our Honorable Supreme Court that it is illegal and thereby unconstitutional. So because our Article 19 itself prescribed that this fundamental right of freedom of speech and expression is not that there is no control, because there are reasonable restrictions as well, that means state can impose the reasonable restrictions. Now I am discussing in brief manner about various relevant and important landmark judgments in support of my contention. Friends, first of all I would like to discuss one landmark judgment given by Kerala High Court, that is Bharat Kumar K. Palicha versus State of Kerala, where Kerala High Court declared that declaring bandh is illegal and unconstitutional, and court gave the reason that bandh cause suffering of the common people. When political party on the pretext of Article 19(1)(a), that is freedom of expression and speech, they declared the Bandh, interest of the common people as a whole suffer a lot. Everything stands still, every office, college, school, bank, hospitals, everything get closed, and so various sectors of the community, as I have already discussed generally, is suffered a lot, and that is why Kerala High Court directed that calling the bandh and strike is unlawful and unconstitutional. And later on, when the matter came before the Honorable Supreme Court in Communist Party of India versus Bharat Kumar, in this case our apex court also decided and upheld the Kerala High Court judgment given in earlier case. And apex court observed that the interest of the entire community as a whole cannot be subservient to the interest of a group of people or a group of worker or any particular political party. So, since the declaring bandh or strike, it hampers, it damnifies the interest of the common people, so it should be absolutely prohibited on the ground that it is illegal. So, here I have mentioned that Bharat Kumar versus K. Palicha versus State of Kerala in the year 1997, bandh was declared as illegal, and that was actually upheld. This High Court judgment was upheld by our Honorable Supreme Court, in this case Communist Party of India versus Bharat Kumar in the year 1998. Here also Supreme Court supported that bandh is illegal. Now I am discussing another landmark judgment, that is Radhesham versus PMG Nagpur. In this case Supreme Court also stated that strike is also considered as unlawful and unconstitutional. In this case, section 3 of the Essential Commodities Regulating Ordinance provided that declaring the strike in case of emergency services should be declared as unconstitutional and government must restrict it. And it was further provided that declaring any unlawful strike in any emergency service will be prohibited and imprisonment will also be imposed. And Supreme Court decided that this provision is not unconstitutional because it prohibits the unlawful strikes. So, by virtue of this judgment, that is Radhesham versus PMG Nagpur, strike is considered as not a fundamental right, and so it is illegal and also punishable. So, what appears to us that by virtue of this judgment, that is Bharat Kumar and Communist Party of India versus Bharat Kumar and Radhesham, that bandh or strike in any form is unlawful, and the Supreme Court has categorized that it actually jeopardizes the interest of the common people. So, fundamental right, it cannot be utilized in such a manner so that the interest of the society will be subservient of a particular narrow section of the people. So, now the time has come that the state must ensure that there must be the absolute prohibition of any strike or bandh, and the stringent measures should be adopted in order to enforce these judgments, because lack of enforceability will not solve the problem. So, in case of such unlawful strike or bandh, the penalty and imprisonment should also be imposed in order to check this problem.